Earlier today, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh chaired a meeting of senior union ministers at his residence, in fact, to discuss better coordination between state and central governments during the COVID-19 crisis. INB Minister Prakash Javadekar, Textiles Minister Smriti Irani and Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan were in attendance. This is the fifth time that the group of ministers had met since a nationwide lockdown was imposed. I am joined by my colleague Sanket Upadhyay on this. Sanket, what were the key takeaways of this meeting?
Well, yes, so this was the fifth meeting of the group of ministers chaired by the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Now, just to put things in perspective, I would like to tell you that the Indian government, Prime Minister, has constituted several GOMs and two main GOMs in the light of COVID-19. One is chaired, which is a GOM on COVID-19, which is chaired by Dr. Harshvardhan. That looks into the medical aspect. On whether we have enough PPEs, the assessment of who all to monitor the manufacturing of PPEs, gloves, ventilators, any research that is done to find the cure and vaccine for COVID-19. So that GOM takes care of the medical side. This GOM, which is chaired by Rajnath Singh, largely takes care of India's preparedness at the times of a lockdown. So what really should the coordination with the state and centre be? What strategy should the central government adopt now that the Disaster Management Act is in place? How do we coordinate? The very crucial issue of the essential supply chain, is that intact? All of those things are discussed. Now, post this meeting, which took place at Rajnath Singh's residence, it was decided that most of these members of the GOM, who are also in charges of various states, they came back with their feedback where they very clearly mentioned that there is some amount of positivity and appreciation towards the policy of relaxation of the lockdown in the various non-containment zones. All of this was mentioned in the 15th of April Ministry of Home Affairs note, also giving out in great detail what all is exempt and what is not in the non-containment or the non-hotspot zones. So it's pretty clear that post this GOM meeting, as the recommendations will then be submitted to the Prime Minister, the government is gearing up to provide these relaxations in the various non-hotspot zones.
Sanket, you were earlier reporting that this is the government of ministers who had earlier said that the lockdown should extend till the 15th of May, but perhaps it was Prime Minister's decision to open it all up by 3rd of May and then also give these certain relaxations on 20th of April. Were they happy with the decision they were given handed down by the Prime Minister?
So here's the thing. As far as this group of ministers is concerned, they're not an empowered group of ministers, which means that their job largely is to collate suggestions, suggest themselves, and then eventually let the Prime Minister decide. That is how the GOM is basically functioning. This is how it operates. So I guess at a time when the Indian establishment is trying to fight as one, both as coordination with state leaders, coordination with the centre, there's really no scope or bandwidth at this moment in the establishment to differ on any of these counts. So at this moment, I think it will be right to say that the establishment is fighting as one and making constructive suggestions for the Prime Minister to act upon. See, the Prime Minister is not just listening in or being fed in by just these group of ministers. He's also speaking to the chief ministers, he's also speaking to industry titans, and his decision is collective. So the GOM's role is only to suggest as others are doing so, and the final decision is with the Prime Minister.